In this quick tutorial, we're going to take a look at a marking guide in the assignment using iLearn 2.5. As usual, we're going to have editing turned on, and we're in the course where we would like to add the activity. We're going to click on Add an Activity or Resource, and we're going to click on the radio button next to Assignment. Go down to the bottom and click Add. The assignment gives us many options, most of which are covered in different videos. So for today, we're going to name this assignment, and I'm going to take it from the marking guide and the question I've already come up with. So it's going to be a written assessment, and I'm going to copy and paste that into the assignment name. And then for the description, I am going to copy the rest of this assignment and paste it. Now you can go in with these editing tools and change the formatting, but we're going to leave it just the way it is right now. And for this particular assignment, I am not going to display the description on the front page. You can set up your availability, and for the submission type, this particular one we're going to have a submission file, or if you'd like, you can use online text where they would actually put the answers in a text field within the assignment. But for this one, we're going to look just at submission files. We're going to let them upload. And now under feedback types, we're going to click on the feedback comments, because I always like to give a feedback comment at the end. You can decide whether or not you want to return files that they've given to you and mark them up. Offline grading is in a different tutorial. And under submission settings, we're going to not require them to click any of these buttons. Under group submissions, we're leaving those just the same. Notification, it's up to you if you want them to be notified or if you want to be notified when someone's submitted. Under grade, we're going to have to determine how many points the grade is for this particular assignment. I'm going to make this one worth 30 and 10 points each, the 3 questions. And now here for the grading method. Simple direct grading, you can click on the drop down, and I'm going to use a marking guide. We'll discuss the rubric in a separate tutorial. I'm going to leave the rest of the common module settings alone. I'm not using groups. And then I'm going to click on Save and Display. This will open up this page, which is Advanced Grading. Under Assignment, you will also see Advanced Grading and define a marking guide. I could have done the rubric, but you have a number of options using this. I'm going to define a new marking guide because I don't have any templates currently on hand. So I'm going to click on this, and it's going to open up a field where I can name this marking guide. This is what I call the mini marking guide because I do not want to have too many questions have to go into for this tutorial. So I'm just going to name it Assignment 1 and put that right in there. And now grades are assigned. And this keeps things very transparent with your students. So now we've got to actually create the marking guide. So you click to edit the criteria, and this is what the student sees. So I'm just going to go over here, and these are the questions that I'm asking, and this is what I'm going to be checking. So how was the purpose of the study explained by my student? You can also click for a description for markers. And you're going to see that there are fields for description for the students and the markers. And sometimes it gets redundant or you might want to change it. But the maximum mark is important, and that's always at the bottom, so I'll make that for 10. I'll add another criteria. And you just continue to add criteria by clicking on the text, filling it in. In this case, I'm copying and pasting to just expedite the process. And once again, we'll paste. And again, this one's going to be worth 10 points. Last but not least, we'll have the third one. It's rather long. And here we go again with the 10. So now I have all three of the marking guide criteria added. If you have frequently used comments like, is this APA, or have you cited this, or grammar, or a run-on sentence, you can add these in here, and it's very easy to just click the plus button. You can add as many as you'd like, and it would add it into the grading guide when we get to that part of the marking guide. So this says show definition to the students and show marks also to the students, which I like to do because, as I said, I like the transparency. So I'm going to click Save Marking Guide and make it ready. You can save it as a draft and review it later, but this one I'm going to make ready. So the next thing we would have to do is have a student submit a paper. So I'm going to pause the video here while I go and submit a fake student's paper into this class. So here I am back in the class. Big Bad Bob has uploaded his assignment. I'm going to go into the assignment. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on View and Grade All Submissions. If I look below, I'm going to see the criteria for how the grades were assigned, and that was the name of my criteria. And this is what the students will see and how they get marked. So I'm going to click on View Grade All Submissions. And since I only have one submitted, I'm going to click right here on the pencil next to Grade under the grading column. And I'm going to look at his submission. And as I'm reading his submission, what I like to do is make the windows, if your computers are large enough to do this, or if you have two monitors, it comes in really handy. You make them so that they fit side by side. So you can read what the student said, and then you can scroll down and see that how was the purpose of this study explained. So you read what the student said to gain information on symbolic versus non-symbolic relationships in young children. That was pretty good, so I'm going to give Bob a 9 on that one. He could have elaborated a little more, and I'm a tough scorer. So then we go down to what was the basic research question stated clearly to gain, let's see, at what age does this occur? This is very poorly written, so he's only going to get a 3 for me out of this one. And the marking guide gives you the flexibility to give any points between 1 and 10, including decimal. So he could have gotten a 3.5. So you can get very granular when you're grading this way. And you can also type in comments here. This is not complete, or whatever you'd like to say. If we keep scrolling down, I don't think this was really in Bob's words. It sounds very copy and pasted, which I can check. And so I'm going to give him maybe a 7 out of the 10. If you use comments like poor sentence structure, this is not APA, whatever standard set of comments you use, if you have them here and the students are writing and you're seeing those here, you can simply click on these while you're in one of these boxes. So instead of having to type yourself, you just click on it. There's a plus next to the number of statements you have, and it will automatically populate it. You can also additionally type in more. But so now you'll see that we can keep scrolling down. This was that feedback comment box that I said I always like to give them overall feedback. So I could write, generally you did a great job. My typing is pretty slow, so I'm not going to bog this tutorial down with my slow typing. But you could type anything you want to give them feedback here, including inserting images. And if you wanted to mark up this paper and then give it back to them, all you would have to do is save it. I generally save it with my initials after it or marked some way so that they can denote that mine was a different version. And you just drag and drop it here and they will get that returned to them as well. You can save changes or you can save and go to the next student's work. And that's all there is to using the marking guide.